Yeah, good morning. Forgot to put up the music. But it likes to note itself in chat anyway. But although that was decent, seemed decent enough, and I usually don't like to have music going. So I've been working on. I'm gonna try to change to patches. Living life, kind of taking the existing previous said phrase thing and switching it over to left right. And I kind of wish I could extract some of this erased stuff. But that would mean that any upstream changes he makes wouldn't get included in the transposed portion because of the patch, I believe. So one of the things I was thinking is that I was planning to work on identifying dangerous people to create a priority list. And while I still may want to do some of that, what I was really thinking about is that, well, the thing we're trying to fix here is not. I suspect he may have done the text-based curse interface. Well, he's doing lots of things to the text interface because it's kind of the way he has to add things to the game without complicating the main UI. The sort of like extra little expert player things. But he may have deliberately chosen to do this method of cursing precisely because it's kind of hard to get a name and type it out, so you can't just go around casually cursing. But there is a real problem in that if you can't quite catch the spelling of somebody's name, you just can't curse them. So I was wondering, well, if you had to at least know kind of about what their name was, could you do more like a name completion kind of thing? So I want to look at the regular previous phrase, because I think they have some method to save, I presume. Cur text. So that must be a copy. So I need to double check if my server's up. And then I want to check because I thought that if you went to previous phrases, it would restore the original text. Because we are actually going to need to know, or rather, we want to be able to cycle through possibilities. That board is always right there. I guess it's not saving the new position? Or it's always moving back? I don't know. Or maybe I'm away long enough to reset it. So blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, it goes back to an empty slot. It does forget that. So we would have to add some kind of storage. for what the user had actually typed if we wanted to cycle through matching cases. So this code might also move. Such a huge file. Because what I wanted to do current ID. I mean, you can still talk to somebody while you're holding something, but might want to say if safe field open. Because I thought tab actually worked. Oh, current hint object ID. Okay, so that's a different thing. Because that's sort of the obvious autocomplete thing. But I kind of don't want to do that big chunk of code. There. Let's see, is there any variables in this function? In key code, we could do a new function for that. Although there is some stuff within here. Well, this would not care about direction. It would just cycle through matching names. Doing this does get into a lot more complicated text processing. And then we are on this, right? Series. Oh, no, we switched over to here. Persist, okay. No, it's only going to be what we have in the life database. Hey, Obs. I'm not gonna try and... So it wouldn't work for previous lives. If somebody just walked up and stabbed you and you didn't see him. I mean, you might still be able to bring your field up and get the name. Right now, I'm actually curious if I can just do like a name completion. But I don't want to stick this giant block of stuff into the middle of... Or actually, that's... Yeah, giant block of stuff into the middle of... into the middle of key down. Oh, that was an over selection if there ever was one. In... So we have... I think this will be void. Name completion. Yeah, I go back and forth on that. I was originally thinking of doing some stuff with how to identify deadly weapons, and I might still do that. But if you think it's inappropriate, we can go back to science and technology. But it's like I kind of want to maybe get some. Kind of want to get some reactions about it or thoughts from OHL people. And I did look it up. Twitch has said you can do games for like fan art and things around it. So I don't think I'm actually going to need the key code for this. I don't have any brace to go with right now. Yeah, like I said, I was originally thinking of doing more like what counts as a deadly weapon or a bloody weapon, which is actually surprisingly hard from what I can tell. So if we go with our current one and just take our current code, and we can't actually do... Let's see, that can be checked anywhere. In key code, that will just have to do there for now. Okay. Oh. Wait. Okay, I've clearly messed up my function syntax somehow. Oh, these were key downs, and they're referencing, safe field. Which means I have to go touch the Living Life page. Erase note, yeah, it's not just a single thing I could pass in. Special key down. So these are all our standard. Yeah, to make it a member, I have to do that. I don't know if this one needs to be virtual. Because I think the virtuals are mainly the inherited ones. Okay, you're fine. Not declared in this scope. Declared in class Living Life page. What? Oh, that file had not updated. So does that work something like what we had before? Oh, that was actually a file ordering issue before because I did it below. And even though I use it up there, I kind of want order to match between files. That should not be significant. So okay, so that does not work. Also, I could really just have this as part of the precondition to doing this. And I could have used that brace if I'd kept it. Oop, that was only one. Game obj. So there's only one game object, so it's 0 to 0. So it should be one loop, right? Now, I may have had multiple characters in the game before. So that doesn't actually solve the problem. If it's left or right, call this. Maybe it has to be minus minus, and there's no wraparound. New index. So I haven't really investigated how that works. I know I think he was going to make it work from the newest, or the most recent text for the code I'm basing this off of. Oh. Yeah, and this will not... Right, I don't have both directions, so it can only go... So essentially we were in the direction of... And... I'm going to have to deal with that, but we're gonna be changing this around. I was mostly just wanted to make sure I had more or less got this part as is, as far as extracting a function, because this is going to be a really big, much like this code, really big distraction to reading through what our keys do. So the least disruptive way to do this, well, you're always going to have a current hit ID. Well, I might be able to structure this as if m is focused. Else. So that will be syntactically correct. Now, we probably want to go ahead and look to see if there's any text there that we could complete, but I guess you could just start doing names. And we do want, unlike perhaps the previous say phrases, we would like this to cycle around. Okay, that does that. And stops doing that. And then goes back to here. So I'm not sure. I mean, I guess we probably shouldn't be filling in stuff if you can't see it. All right, so current text. So we can't do a straight up equal. Yeah, I saw some bits and pieces of somebody I watched going through parts of that game. I guess I haven't been big into the point and click adventures in. I guess I was never big into them. I had played a few. So our search, we need, yes, this is going to work different. And So the simplest version is to do first names. That could be a challenge if there were multiple families or if it was an Eve. Well, if it's Eve, you start doing Eve, and then hopefully we can get it to work where it completes out any Eve name. But what I'm going to need, and this one I might be able to do here because it'll be before anywhere we use it, I think. Because we need to well, if we could match the end of the current text against a name, we could just continue completing, but we wouldn't be able to then know what the player had typed. Let's do the cheap version. We're still going to need a field. Char pointer, how do we then know the player's text? Привет, Alexov. How you doing? How do we then know what is the player's text versus what is... So I may have to move that up and explicitly... No, because I think when the safe field's focused, it automatically captures letters. I'm doing okay. Partial matching of the input buffer. Oh, maybe. That's going against the name list. We could make a name list of the characters and use that. But that happens on the server. Yeah, because only the server has the name list. Or are you also doing that in the mod to where it will pick up however many characters you've typed? Because I know you'll fill in like shift letter. And I was kind of hoping to avoid having to ship the name lists, although auto naming is something I've thought about. So we want to record what the player had actually typed up to the point of initiating completion. Well, yeah, so we're going to have to put this up, and I think clear it anytime. Well, we could have a text when they pressed tab if there had been no text. Well, now there's going to be too many deletes. I think that's all handled in save field. Oh, you know what? We can record last auto-completed text. And if the field is still equal to last auto-completed text, then we can use the recorded value of the save field. Which means we can go back to having it locally. Char pointer, last completion text. Or could we simply see if we record, if there's no last player text, we record that. Which still means I'd have to clear it when closing the field. If... Yeah, because what if you edit it and then want to complete again? So we have current text. So I guess we need to, well, I probably need to start with a simplified version where we just say, attempt to complete the current thing. And then don't worry about consecutive completions. Which means I might not need either of these for now. So current text, we're going to attempt to and we're just going to start with completing names because that's easier. New index. Does new index even matter for erasure? Just if we have changed something. Which would be more of, hey, we've changed something, than a well, it would be the found player index. Strcomp. Text. This is we want to say if the current text is a substring. And how does exactly strcomp work? If it is a substring. Function starts comparing the first character. If they are equal to each other, it continues the following parts until the characters differ or until a terminating null is reached. The first character has a lower value. Last occurrence of character. Hey, TVG Badger, how's it going? Get span of character set. Consists only of characters that are part of stir2. No, it's not quite right. I'm trying to refresh myself on C string functions. This doesn't say how it reacts to strings of different length. Now this is comparing cur text to blank. Yeah. It doesn't indicate any particular preference for string 1 or string 2, which seems to indicate that like this is comparing against this, which means this has to be actually equal to blank. Or else this would, if it stopped at the first null and just said, okay, well, they're equal up to that point, then that would be trivially true. Compare characters up to num characters. So actually, that would be it. If I can get... So I could either measure cur text, which is going to be strlen returns the length of a C string. Now, I don't know if M say field can tell me how many characters it has. Set max length. Get text, get text, get text. This is living, it's probably a minor gems thing. Text. No, it is not. So the interface is set text, set contents hidden, get text, set max length, get max length is at limit, get selected text. Shift arrows can select, insert character, insert string. Set ignore mouse, get cursor position. Get right edge. Get int, get float, set int, set float. Step draw, pointer key, focus. Nope. So I'm not sure it's got a current length easily accessible anyway. But this is all going to be private stuff. So what we can do, yeah, I think that's the total width of the field, not the current width. So we want the cur text length equals sterling cur text, which will actually let us simplify this. No, if it's not equal to. Oh, but this is only matching if it's. So right now, yeah, I mean there's, but that's was that a public variable? Oh, text area, text field. Protected. So we'd have to get into some weird stuff to get at that. We could see if maybe I overlooked. Text line equals is at limit. Sterling, nothing that seems like it's likely to just return that. So, oh yeah, if cur text length greater than 0, so we want to flip this around. So we want to do stern comp up to num characters. And the order is string 1, string 2, num. Cur text if, and we're going to be using this differently than the original code was. Up to cur text length are equal. And this is going to get a lot more complicated. We might want to do completion of phrases, but cur buffer index is actually not an appropriate name for this. Well, no, this is going to be the... this is step 1. This is step 1. So it is going to be sort of a cur name index. Actually, we're eventually going to be matching this exactly against the name. And then going back to our partially captured text. GameObjects.size. Greater than or equal to GameObjects.size. So that takes care of that. So yeah, this is set up to go from the end of the list, but then he has things not equal to -1. This goes back. Oh, because 0 is a valid index in the list of names. So 0 matters. Greater than or equal to GameObjects.size. Does that mean we actually default at 0? Well, let's see if that much does what we think it does. Yep, that person's dead. All right, so I am... Oh, it's still putting in the curse. Well, that's not going to be able to do there. We were considering... Okay, it does not autocomplete partials like we wanted. So it works with the blank case, which GameObjects.size minus minus is going to make it 0. Do we just set new index to 0 and then not do this? Have it default at 0? Oh, but then this says if it is anything, because it will start, then it'll then start out at 0. All right, make sure we know what that does. All right, that is, it still handles the blank case well enough. Okay. And I guess I really shouldn't even be having the curse the way this is working right now. Oh! Interestingly enough, that... Oh, because I don't want to do the minus minus? Well, we'll eventually want the ability to cycle through if we've found an exact match. We still have to deal with substrings. So for just completing, that works. But in order to complete a partial phrase, so if we only concern ourselves with first names, then we need to do some string processing. So right now, we've got filters. And I guess I could also do this with a prefix character, be another way to do it. Which I don't think he does any word breakdowns. I could... I was thinking I could do this as a general name completion thing. But I could do something similar to his network message parsing if I assumed the curse word as leading into everything else. So that's probably a useful assumption. Or at that point, it's actually just adjust the string. So this is picked up from somewhere else. So this is cur text. We want to for the time being, we're going to say if cur text length so cur space is 5.6. Actually, we want to say greater than 6 because we want to have, well, we really should have at least one letter. If cur text length greater than 6, for now, what we could actually do is say if it's less than 6, just get out of here. So if it's greater than, less than or equal to 6, if it is greater than 6, then we want to, if stern compare cur text with curse, 6, equals 0. Then car name text equals cur text plus 6. And we can pretty much assume that name length is, at this point we can, I should really, I could just modify that, but it would be a little bit more proper to say name length equals cur text length minus 6. Now, once again, we have a case where if we don't have this, we're not currently handling that. Nope, this is not his style. There are several things you have to change. For this. Do we have like related? Soft tab stop.